Yo, yo, yo. Thanks for tuning in to the 71st episode of JTC Crypto. And in this episode, I'm going to be doing an impromptu episode of terrible Bitcoin analogies. My dude Troy Cross came up with what I felt was actually a pretty good analogy on proof of stake versus proof of work. So I'm gonna just loosely read through like the tweet thread that he made, and he's pretty much just saying like Bitcoin miners, and this is an important distinction. It's like Bitcoin miners can lose money in Bitcoin terms under proof of work. Under proof of stake, stakers, if they're technically competent, they never do, and that's not a good thing. And this is his analogy. Transacting in Bitcoin is like crossing a river. If you want to cross the river, you pay a ferry. Anyone can build a boat, start ferrying passengers for the same fee. In proof of stake, transacting is like crossing private land. You pay the landowner for the right. Only the landowner is enriched by the land crossing. Of course, you too can charge for others' land crossings, but you must first buy some land from the landowners. There's no equivalent to building your own boat. Stakers can't lose because landowners can't lose. There's only one way to cross the land, to pay the owners. The owners have no competition. Ferry guides, by contrast, will proliferate along the riverbank as long as it's profitable to run a ferry. Sometimes boats will be bought and built, and the fees recovered won't be enough to cover those expenses, and the boatman will turn to something else like fishing. Obviously, there's many disanalogies here too. I hope you can see the central point. Proof of stake is feudalism. The Lord owns the estate. You must pay to till your plot of land and grow some wheat on it forever. And then he says, and the Lord is the kind of dude who has an ape. It's like nonstop raves in the castle. And I think that's it's a little bit extra, but it does drive the point home. And I remember a long time ago, if you go back to some of my early videos, I had made this thing called the Bitcoin pages analogy. It was another episode of terrible Bitcoin analogies. And I was also working on something like explaining proof of stake to people. I never published that video because obviously I stopped believing in proof of stake. Because as I was trying to write that thing, I realized, I'm like, dude, this sounds like oppression. I remember I was trying to like come up with this thing called like proof of reputation. That's why you should buy your Ether now while it's cheap, because once they move to proof of stake, the only way to like get ETH is to. I was just kind of like, this sounds more like a closed system. And that's kind of what's different with Bitcoin. With Bitcoin, there's always some sort of link to the meat space or the real world, where you can do something like you build a boat and get Bitcoin. In this case, it would be like you build a miner, you contribute to the security, and as the difficulty goes up, that's going to be harder and harder to do. But it's just one of the things that you need to take into account also is that hash is priced in like dollars, in real world goods. It's not priced in Bitcoin. So generally speaking, hash is always kind of like decreasing in terms of Bitcoin cost. I know that is a little bit hard to wrap your head around, but it's just think about it like this. Let's use 2017. How much was an Antminer S9? And how much did that cost you in Bitcoin? Now, how much does, back then, probably in 2017, I'm guessing 13 terahash. I have no idea what the price was. But I'm guessing, let's just say that the miners were going for $1,500 and the Bitcoin price was 10K, right? So roughly it's 0.15 BTC or something like that. Today, you can get 110 terahashes, and that might cost you like $5,000 or $4,000. And how much is that? So that's like zero point 0.2, and you're getting 10 times more terahashes. So it's just kind of showing that, I guess, the cost to build the boat is going down over time in terms of Bitcoin. Very relevant point. So yeah, this dude Eric Wall, in this talk that he did a little while ago, he brought up a very interesting and relevant point, and I'm gonna play the clip over here.
So, conclusion. Can Ethereum compete with Bitcoin as hard money? I think yes, it can. I mean, of course it can, and it probably will. The question that remains, I suppose, is whether it should. I personally think that the main innovation that we have been able to create with cryptocurrencies is that we have been able to create digital scarcity. And we have been able to create something that resembles digital gold. But how can we make the argument that we have invented the digital gold if something else comes and replaces that digital gold? That doesn't really happen with gold. Gold doesn't find, it's very unusual that another precious metal comes around and replaces gold. If that happens in the cryptocurrency economy, that the number one gets replaced by another cryptocurrency, then people are going to start to lose faith in that we've actually created anything that resembles digital gold. And even in Ethereum, Ethereum has a lot of competitors as well. There's Solana, there's Avalanche, there's Hedera Hashgraph, there's tons of all these other ones. And what happens then if Ethereum gets replaced by something else? If that's the case, then how can we even describe these assets as store value? How can we even say that we've invented a digital form of gold? And if we haven't invented a digital form of gold, something that you can preserve your wealth in, who's going to invest in this? How are we going to reach a $300 trillion market cap if people aren't investing in it as long-term stores of value? And at the end of the day, I just want to finish with this. So I have all these opinions about Bitcoin and Ethereum and why it shouldn't become a hard money, why it shouldn't become a hard money asset. But it's not up to me. It's not my decision. My opinions on this matter are irrelevant. It's up to what other people consider is good. And I just want to finish with some last closing remarks that I had written down. So, ultrasound money with no carbon footprint is a batshit powerful meme. It's not a matter of opinion, at least not your opinion. Your opinion doesn't matter. It's other people's opinions that matter. We are all slaves underneath the burden of other people's good memes. So you can reject the meme, you can dismiss the meme, you can debunk the meme, but never underestimate the meme. Only think, how good is this meme? And rather than thinking, how correct is this meme? When assessing your opponent's power level. And that's all I had. Thank you very much.
And so, with that in mind, I think that one of the important things is that we are the ones that need to make that decision. So do we value proof of stake more? Should we value a proof of reputation system more? We can, and we might. And then, it's just kind of like, it goes back to what I've said before about proof of stake in Ethereum. I do feel that that's just the developer money, where developers are in charge of the monetary policy instead of, just having, removing people from that decision. And it's what they say. It's like in a democracy, we elect the leaders that we deserve. So, if something like the flippening does happen, which I don't necessarily know if that's a problem, because I've always maintained the thought that they're going to try that anyway to discredit Bitcoin, mainly because that's the easiest way to, make people lose faith in something like Bitcoin. It's just like by printing, they can literally print dollars and buy it. So they can literally print $1 trillion and buy Ethereum. And then if we believe the market cap and start to dump all of our Bitcoin for Ether, then that's what we voted for. So it's like, what do you believe in? What kind of future are you building? What are you working towards? And, I want to make sure that, like, I'm trying to vote for something where, we're voting for something that's actually different and not more of the same. Anyway, so this video is getting kind of long and probably kind of dumb. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. You guys know I hate asking, pero this is J Talks Crypto, and I am signing off.